back to Drill by Feel. This is Coach T. Today we're going to go over a warm-up progression for the receiving aspect of the catching game. So for the warm-up progressions, I don't really mind what kind of setup you have. For my older guys, I do ask them to change setups every time they receive a pitch, solely for the fact like you need to get comfortable in multiple positions for multiple different pitches. But as far as youth level goes, basic 2-foot primary is totally fine. If you're teaching the 1 knee down, again, totally fine. Whatever they're most comfortable with, wherever they're going to be able to receive the baseball the best. As far as the receiving game goes, catching strikes has always been something that the most basic of basic catchers do pretty well. The new fad in baseball is getting underneath the baseball and trying to steal that bottom of the zone strike. So today that's what we're going to be working on. Again, you can always monitor these drills to change angles. We're working inside, outside. You can also work top of the zone. It's again, whatever you're trying to preface for prior to game or whatever your warm-up plan is for that day. So for the basics of the mechanics, as far as the arm should work and how our body should work behind the baseball, what I tell a lot of my youth guys, try to make a C with that pointer finger and the thumb. When we have that U, we get susceptible to the ball taking our glove. We're not as strong in that motion. And you'll have players learn as well. When we go from this U to the C, my shoulder now gets activated. Now I'm using my big muscles to catch the baseball versus just the strength of my hand. So the basis of our warm-up today is going to be trying to get our thumb underneath the baseball. So what we're going to first have happen, a partner or a coach is going to roll you a ground ball. So as far as the rhythm goes in your hand, right, when we're going show, we're going to give, and as that ball's rolling in, we're going to try to stay underneath that ball the best we can. All right, the reason we use a ground ball is because it does not get any lower to the ground than a true ground ball. Right, so our thumb really has to let the baseball get deep. Right, so I'm able to work that baseball up through my eyes. The second part of our progression, we're going to continue using just the bare hand. Like I said, really controlling the baseball with your bare hand is going to make it that much easier when we move to either the trainer or your actual catching glove. So what we do first, we like to use a tennis ball. One, for the guys who have smaller hands, then the importance of the tennis ball is to create softer hands. The looser our body is, the quicker our body can move, right? The stiffer we are, the more robotic, the more 2 to 3 piece movements we have. The looser we can be, we can make it present as a one pitch move. So as far as the drill is concerned, like I said, everything's gonna have to involve rhythm and timing. We like to slow things down to a T, right? To really make sure we're getting these movements and the understanding of what we're trying to do correct. So what you're gonna have happen, just like when you flip a baseball to a hitter, we'd show, we'd load, and then we'd flip. Same thing here, right? We want to create some sort of rhythm and timing as far as getting underneath the baseball goes. So as far as the rhythm and timing goes, like I said, we're going to show when he shows, we're going to load our glove, and again, the loading is just going to be like as a hitter. Okay, there's toe tappers or short leg lifts, there's big old leg kickers. Same thing here, whatever their rhythm and timing is, whatever their give and go is, make sure they're representing that. So if they're a drop down, if they're a flash in the back of the glove, if they give and go, whatever it is, just make sure they're working through the bottom of the baseball. So we're going to show, we're going to give, we're going to try to stay underneath the baseball as we go up the middle of the zone. So the third part of our progression is going to be with the glove. We're fortunate enough to have these training gloves brought to us by All Star and Rawlings. But again, if all you guys, your normal catching glove, it is totally fine. We're going to do the same concept, right? Baseball is going to be fed. It's going to be a short hop. Again, the same goal is going to be trying to get underneath the baseball. So we're going to show, we're going to give. Once the ball is getting deep on us, we'll be able to bring it up through our target, right? It should be a one-piece move at once we hit the ground. A variation we'll do with this pick-through drill with our high school guys is changing the setups every time they receive a baseball. One, it gets them changing setups quickly, right, where they're going to have to add variability in the game so we're not tipping pitches. Another thing we want to add, like I said, is once we catch baseball, we're going to give it back. We're going to change into that new setup. And again, you can also change types of plate or angles you are feeding at. Again, it's going to be the skill level of your player. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, and again, it's going to be up to you and the player's progression. So how the drill should look, you're going to have the player set up in his sign setup. And he's going to move in. What I'm going to do is a left knee down, get back into my setup, and then I'm going to try a right knee down. It's going to be the exact same rhythm and timing where I'm going to show, I'm going to load, and I'm going to get through the bottom of the baseball. Except this time, like I said, I'm going to drop that knee, get a good posture with my eyes and chest, get a good little forward lean. All we're trying to do is the same rhythm and timing. For a 4-step of our progression, we like to do a 5-step receiving. We're over-exaggerating the movements. When we do the more subtle movements, the more bottom of the zone, just to the tip of it, it translates. So what we'll ask the players to do is show pocket, thumb on the ground. Main reason being we want them to work that elevator straight up through their head, their eyes, their chin, their chest, and then they'll stick and rotate from the bottom of the zone. Like I said, it's a progression, so as they move lower down the chain, the movements get a little bit smaller. The main thing I want to get here across is that it's glove presentation. So again, when we say to the head, this is too far, right? We want to be able to control the top of the zone, slightly underneath, middle of the plate, underneath our chest, and again, we're going to stick and rotate bottom of the zone. From a coach's perspective, once the player's underneath and where he's presenting pocket at baseball, your goal is to flip a ball at the top of his glove. That way when he catches it, he can work up that chain. Last but not least, we're going to stick and rotate. So last but not least, our 5th progression is going to be cross-body misses or cross-zone misses. The main reason being a lot of the catchers that I've worked with and the pitchers that I've worked with, they're amateurs, right? So there's going to be a lot of misses, and specifically different sides of the plate, right? Directional misses because of many different factors, right? Fundamentals are still being introduced to these young players, and we need to be able to accommodate as a catcher. Okay, so what we'll do first, we'll set up on the outside corner, and again, all we're trying to do is feed the inside part of the plate. Okay, so the rhythm we talked about earlier in the progression where we're keeping that C as we catch the baseball. A lot of my players that I've seen get hurt, right, or where they're turning that U, and again, we don't have the strength behind us, right, to really secure the baseball. So again, this is not necessarily about sticking strikes, right, because again, it is a true 17-inch miss, right? So as far as the umpire is concerned, they're not always going to give that call. As far as the importance of stability and injury-free baseball, we want to make sure we're as strong as possible when we're moving through the ball. Okay, so again, if we can stick, good for you. If not, all we're trying to do is ride through our elbow. So I'll show, I'll go for an outside pitch, ball works in. Again, it caught enough of the plate where I was able to still stick the pitch, but again, if it misses off the plate, it's going to be a more difficult move. Like I said, the main thing we're trying to work on here is keeping stability in our shoulder and our big muscles so this thumb doesn't get taken over. Next thing we'll do is sort of the inside part of the plate. Same concept, right? Your rhythm and time is going to be based off the inside pitch, so however you teach that, if we're on an angle, we're right through the back of the corner of the plate. Again, it's going to be coach to coach. Okay, whatever makes sense for the players, what we need to do here. And all we're going to try to do is feed this outside corner of the plate. Another miss we're going to see as far as the amateurs go is the up and down miss. So we're setting up top of the zone, right, and they miss steep. Okay, or working down the zone, they release a little bit early, ball stays up and arm side.
As always, thanks so much for watching the video. If you could, in order to grow this baseball community, I need you to like, comment, and share these videos on all social platforms with your friends. And as always, send you positive feels.